In today's session of Market Movers, we will take a look on the Nasdaq, which has been in an unstoppable bull run, which has pushed it to the record highs. It just in yesterday's session registered a new all-time high above 11,000, and now for today's trading session, it is trading little lower, but I think the underlying momentum is still intact, notwithstanding the US-China tensions. On the backdrop of closure of China's consulate in the Houston, and there are some concerns on that front. But if we see the losses in the US equity indices futures and also the major equity indices around the world, the losses are not that prominent, so we can't really say if it is going to escalate from here onwards. But we have to watch out on that front. Apart from that, it's pretty much business as usual. We didn't really get any major release for on the data side during the Asian trading session or even during the European trading session, as the US session is getting underway. Just a while back, we got the Canada's CPI numbers, and here, in terms of year on year, there is a rise of 0.7% in the CPI, and month on month figures stand at 0.8%, and both these readings are better than the last month, that is prior month of May. So you can say that since the demand is picking up, at least there is some recovery in the inflationary scenario in the month of June, and the core inflation also stands at 1.1%. And in the US session, we will be getting the US government's EIA's crude oil inventory data, and here there is a consensus that we will see some drawdown. But if we consider yesterday's report coming in from the API, there also the expectation was of a drawdown, but we actually saw the addition of around 7.5 million barrels. So in that light, I'm not really sure if we should be expecting the crude oil inventory drawdown in today's session, and we will have to watch out on what kind of impact it will have on the crude oil prices in today's trading session. Now moving on to the technical segment, we will see the Nasdaq's technical outlook first, and then we will move on to the USD JPY. Let's start with the Nasdaq's technical outlook first. This is the daily time frame chart, and what a rally it has been from around 6,600 to almost 11,000. And as I had said, yesterday we saw new all-time high being established, and after that high was established, we saw quick tail off also, and from those highs we are trading lower by 2 percentage points. But on the lower side, now the support is also coming in, and if we see today's session, it has been more of a range bound session. We haven't really seen any big one-sided movement either on the upside or on the downside. Rather than that, we have this range-bound momentum around 10,800 zone, and just for the session, if you consider this Fibonacci channel, here you can see that we have seen this upward momentum sustaining itself, and almost for 2 months now, the price action has hovered between these channels, and the highs have been closer to this 61.8% level. And unless and until there is a clear break, a fresh formation of lower low and a lower high, we don't really have to be concerned about change of momentum in the Nasdaq. Till then, we can continue to bet on the bullish side. The trajectory is still on the higher side. So here, coming to the 4 hourly chart, we have this second resistance of the pivot point series drawn on the monthly time frame around these 10,800 levels, and these are the levels on which the consolidation has been going on. In the first attempt, the Nasdaq tried to climb above this 11,000 zone, but then this swift sell-off pushed it lower even below this first resistance closer to 10,400. But the recovery has been quite substantial, and again it climbed back. Almost all of the losses were wiped out in this new move, and after this new high was established, again we are seeing some selling momentum picking up, and it's too soon to say if it is a double top kind of formation unless and until we see a fresh break below crucial support zone. We can't really say that, and even now, if we consider both these regression curve as well as the pivot point series, both are pointing to the upside momentum, and even in my personal opinion, I am still favoring a long trade in the Nasdaq rather than trying to go short, considering that it is now more or less entering into a overbought scenario. But as I said, we have this fresh momentum, and now on the lower side, I feel we have this strong support zone coming into play around 10,700 to 10,800 zone. Even in earlier hours of European trading session, we saw recovery happening closer to 10,800 zone. So this is the price zone in which you can think about going in for fresh long entry in the Nasdaq with possibility of it retesting its immediate high. This all-time high of around 11,100, just slightly below that. So we have to keep this possibility in mind, and any opportunity in this price band after due consolidation, this price band of 100 points, I think is a good move, and it likely to bring us profit. On the lower side, we can keep the stop losses just little below this prior swing low, which is there around 10,500. So for a risk of around 2 percentage point, you can expect a move of around 3 to 4 percentage point on the higher side. So it will roughly speaking give us a risk reward ratio which will be slightly lower than 1 is to 2. It won't be exactly 1 is to 2, but looking at the momentum which we have seen in the Nasdaq, I think there is one more time which we can bet on the long side, and if things go well, we will indeed be making good amount of money, and if things don't go so well, then of course we will be losing money. But we have to keep that in mind that any trade can go wrong, and we have to plan accordingly and take the risk accordingly, only to the extent we can afford to suffer. Now moving to the USD JPY's technical outlook. This is the daily time frame chart, and USD JPY has been trading in this very narrow range and making the life difficult of the traders. Even I think twice in a recent past, I have got the momentum wrong, and even in yesterday's session, we were not really expecting a break on the downside, but this is what happened, and it eventually break below. It eventually broke below crucial support zone of 107, and went on to fall towards 106.7 zone. Now in today's session again it is trying to recover, and it is again back to the levels close to 10,000, sorry, 107. And if you consider this EMA formation, this EMA crossover, it is still in the bearish trend, and I think we will have to see if the USD JPY is going to break below this immediate swing low of around 106. We have already seen twice the support zone pushing the USD JPY back again towards the higher side, but this time around it will be interesting to see how things unfold. And one thing I forgot to also mention, that if there is a fresh break, then naturally for USD JPY, this price zone of 100% Fibonacci expansion of its prior fall opens up, and we might even see the USD JPY moving towards 104 levels. Considering the 4 hourly chart, here also things are pretty much looking on the bearish side. We have the price action concentrated in between these support and the central pivot point. And if you consider the traditional view, anything in below this central pivot point is in the bearish zone. So that's what we can draw looking at this chart of USD JPY, but it's not trading exactly close to the resistance on the longer time frame chart. We have this resistance zone just below 108 zone, and right now we are 100 pips away. So we have to more or less rely on the immediate price action, immediate formation, and if we are going to do that, we will have to consider these swing lows and swing highs. Regression curve has flattened to great extent, but it is pointing now to the upside. But price action hasn't been that strong to increase our confidence in that trades, and because of that I think we will have to mostly rely on the hourly time frame chart, where we have this confluence of 50, 100 and 200 SMAs around this 107 zone. Here we also got this golden crossover on the bearish side, the 50 SMA crossing below 200 SMA, and now the price action is also concentrating closer to these three SMAs confluence area around 107. So this is, I think, a possibility of USD JPY consolidating here and then again moving on the lower side and eventually breaking below these immediate swing low and these prior swing lows as well around 107 point, sorry, 106.7. So in today's session, I think if we get any trading opportunity to go short closer to this 107 zone, the price band anywhere between 107.05 to 107.15. This is a price band of 10 pips, and our stop loss will be closer to this immediate swing high around 107.35, and for that risk of around 20 to 30 pips, we can target almost closer to 50 pips on the lower side. And if we are going to enter into a short sale for the price in between 107.05 to 107.15, we can keep our target on the lower side around 106.5. That will be lower than this immediate swing low, and we will need a fresh break below these swing lows, but that's a good possibility looking at this structure of EM SMAs, and also if you consider this ascending triangular pattern which was in place till yesterday's session has now broken, and now we also can treat these line as a resistance zone, and as I said, we already have these three SMAs acting as a resistance zone around this 107 zone. So we have a couple of resistance, and also the fresh break is pointing to the continuation of the momentum on the short sale side. So taken together, both these things are pointing to the bearish developments. So that's it from my side for today's session. If any of you have any a query or question, you can write it in the comment section, and I would be more than happy to take the discussion forward. Before I sign off, I would also like to remind of the risk associated with trading in the financial instrument, and one should be careful while using the information provided. Have a fabulous day ahead. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.